First of all, thank you very much for having me here. I flew from California to hear what you guys are doing here. Although I'm working on a disruptive technology which I believe is going to change the way electricity is currently generated and distributed. And it's a very simple concept where we are trying to monitor how much is being generated locally, and this is what we call distributed generation, and what is the supply or the demand, and we are doing it on a real-time basis and trying to balance the grid on a real-time basis. So what it means is it is not only going to increase the reliability locally because you are now no more working on a larger grid, you are working at a very local grid. So the customers are empowered here. And also it is at a lower cost because most of the combination of generation is renewable generation, which is a lower cost than traditional generation. And plus you are not incurring any distribution cost because there is no distribution. And then all the losses are removed. So there is a lower cost here. So there is a story behind it and on why I selected this. So when I moved from India to take my master's program in Canada, it was 8th of August 2002, and there was a glitch in the grid and there was no electricity in our neighborhood for almost 7 days. And in Canada, I don't know about UK, but in Canada, most of the cooking is done in electrical ovens and electrical gas. We could not cook our food, and the barbecue owners were cooking and selling food. So it struck me that this problem is universal. In India, we had problem of access to electricity, whereas in North America, it was reliance on grid, and any problem in the grid would have created this type of challenges. And same thing happened when the storm Sandy struck East Coast. Even the New York Stock Exchange went down for the first time in the history. So governments there, both in Canada and US, thought that there is a huge reliability issue, there is a threat to security, and there is a solid business case for microgrids. And that's where I started investing into microgrid, because it has got universal proposition. Not only it is needed in Western countries, but also it is needed in countries in Africa, India, Philippines. They have got huge use cases because people don't have access to power. Like in Philippines, it has got 600 islands and they don't have a central grid. So what islands would do? They would generate electricity on diesel. So why not have a combination of renewable generation, traditional generation, storage, and also do the energy management and create a microgrid as a service platform? And that's my business model all about. One fundamental basic principle which I follow is not to copy the traditional players. So if I start copying what utilities are doing, I'll become as heavy they are. So I'm not going with the traditional asset-based model. I'm going with a very sleek analytics layer, which will help improve the return on investment on asset. So it will reduce the capital investment because the whole efficiencies will go up and whole cost will go down. And that's one of my business model, is keep it as sleek as possible. And I try to compare myself with Uber's and bread and breakfast type of a model, where these companies don't own asset, but still they are multi-billion-dollar companies. So why can't we replicate the same business model for electricity industry? And that's what I call as disruption in electricity market.